If you've ever met my son, you will know that he's a chip off the old block. In fact, it's that to sort of an extreme. He looks like me at that age. In fact, you put photos, at 3 years old or 10 years old or whatever it might be, and we look quite similar. We have similar characteristics. We move in the same way. We get on each other's nerves in the same thing because we know which buttons to push. There's something sort of really unique and beautiful as a parent to go, oh, well, my son's quite similar to me. What's remarkable is the things that I always hope is the good parts that I can do as I look towards God and hopefully follow him well. I hope that he will do the same. And that's exactly what's occurred for Hilda John. Her dad actually started a movement of helping those who were disempowered in India. And Hilda decided, actually, you know what, I might change my career and go and help Dad. And then, since his passing, has taken this to a whole new level. That's the story we're going to hear today on Towards Understanding. Just before we chat to Hilda, would you please like, rate, review, share this with others? It's always free. We just love getting these stories out. We're hoping to influence people for the good of our world. And that helps us do that, get it to more and more people. So we'd love you to do that. All right, let's have a chat to Hilda John. Hilda, thank you so much for being in.
Thank you, Clayton, for having me here.
It is so wonderful. Talk to us about what DAIA is, the Development Association for Integrated Activities. What is the work that is happening?
So DAIA is a small grassroots organization working in the southern state of Tamil Nadu, and we try to create opportunities for vulnerable communities for the economic development so that they're able to break the cycle of poverty.
Yeah, and those vulnerable communities are everything from children to elderly, to women in society, anyone who may be vulnerable in that society you work with.
Yeah, that's right. We work among children from very low socio-economic backgrounds, women from rural areas, and elderly and people with HIV.
Yeah. We're going to spend a bit more time and really dig deep on each of those areas of work because I want to share that with all of those who are listening today. Let's just start, though, by a bit of your story. Did you grow up yourself in this part of the world that you work in or somewhere else?
Yeah, that's right, Clayton. I was born and raised in Tuticorin. So my father was a lab technician and his heart was for serving people. And in the early 1990s and 2000s, there was an epidemic of people infected with HIV/AIDS all throughout the world and especially in our regions. And his heart went out for him and he had a call to serve the people there. And so he, along with his friends, so he went out, took medications, nutrition packs, spent time with them, gave them the message of hope. And eventually people got better. Many hundreds of them were able to get better and start earning their income. So I saw his faith in action. So that sowed a seed in my heart to continue this work. But anyway, eventually I studied civil engineering, went on to do that and work in the sector.
Yes. May I ask, is that a common occupation for a woman in India, civil engineering?
Not very common, but still it was possible to do that. And I chose to do civil engineering and work in it for a while. But when my dad passed away in 2015, I felt the calling much more deeper to get in and serve my own community. I saw the unfinished work that was left behind. So that was my calling, and so I stepped in to serve my people.
Love that. You wanted to put your faith in action as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Wonderful. So that was in 2015, and you said, all right, so what were the things that were set up around that time that is still in existence today through the work?
So at that point in time, Dad and his friends, they were able to do just the work, serving people with HIV/AIDS, doing medical camps and looking after them. And whenever they had some resources, they were able to help empower women and people with the HIV/AIDS. Yeah. So that was the work which was being done in 2015.
Yeah. Two questions around that. One is, I'm assuming that this part of India, I'm not as familiar with India, but what is the socio-economic sort of environment around this part of India?
So Tamil Nadu is quite highly developed state compared to many northern states. But if you look at it in Tamil Nadu, there's 478 villages, rural villages there. And the poverty is quite rampant in those areas. If you look at India itself, we have a huge divide between the rich and the poor. The richest, the 10%, own around 75% of the wealth, and the bottom 50% are left with 6% of the wealth to share. So that's what we see. And most of our people in those poverty areas, they live below $1 a day. So that is the situation. And those are the districts that we work with.
Yeah, okay. The second question I asked is, we've often in Australia and New Zealand society, where this program's going through both nations, we've talked a lot about, in terms around the world, with those who have a lot of HIV, and often it's Africa we mention, not necessarily India. How prevalent is that in India and is still being dealt with?
So still we've got new cases coming in, though the awareness of HIV is more available now. Still we've got young people being infected with HIV/AIDS. So that's why it is so important for us to continue the work with all the colleges and universities among the young people. And so that is one of our mission, to keep continuing the work which DAIA was started on.
Yeah. Okay, so let's now talk a bit about what is happening. So we talked about this was part of that focus, and that is still part of the way you're running. Is it that you run with a staff, a volunteer base? How are you doing the work?
So we've got 4 full-time staff and 6 part-time staff who take care of our tutoring centers in the part of education. So that is a whole lot of people.
Yeah, okay. And so the tutoring is mostly to children or to anybody who is in that vulnerable situation?
So the tutoring centers are run for children from very low socio-economic backgrounds in around Thoothukudi district. And we've got 139 children enrolled in those programs.
Wow.
So the main thing is like the main aim of it is like making all of them, we provide quality educational support to them in these programs. All of them go to government schools. So we want them to complete the education, because without intervention, most of them might drop out of school. So that is our aim. And also include the parents in these programs so that we are able to achieve this outcome.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So it is tutoring in the sense that it's making sure, hey, how do we get you through that schooling process rather than come and learn some different thing. It's about actually achieving that, which is wonderful. I imagine that you'd be quite somebody who the kids could look up to and say, well, this lady went and did civil engineering, and is that a moment where they look to you and think, well, great, I want to be a bit like Hilda?
I'm not sure about that, but still I know there are many kids who aspire because this opportunity has been given to them. If I may say a couple of stories.
Please do, yes.
So one of a young girl who started to attend our centers 4 years ago, she's the eldest in a family of girls, four children. She's born in a very poor family. Her father struggles with alcoholism and mother is a daily wage laborer. And her father says to her, it's enough of studies now. Probably you need to start working and we get you married. But what does she do now? She starts to panic. At this point in time, her mother hears about after-school tutoring centers which are run in those areas. She brings all of her 4 children. So they start to come regularly. They are very clever children. And she finishes a year 12 studies. And now she's finished a second year agricultural engineering. So children like that, we've got 4 of them who have completed year 12 and went on to do critical care nursing, and 2 of them to physio. So they have set the stage for the girls in their community. And they know that the poverty is still not yet over for them, but still they know the days are numbered yet.
Yeah. You talked about that moment where, the dad was like, well, it's time to get you married. We would imagine, but I don't want to also assume that there is that in the culture where the girls are probably getting less chance of education because of those scenarios. Is that correct?
Yeah, when you have poverty in a family, girl, there's no point in the way they look at it is there's no point in educating a girl and then getting her married. So they would prefer to save up some dowry and get married. So that is the situation. So the importance of education always it's bypassed in those scenarios.
We can see it in that moment. That mum, for example, said, "Oh, we're going to bring my 4 kids here," and we do that. Is there a cultural shift in perspective happening because of the work of things like what you're doing and others are doing? Are people starting to think about it differently, that actually it is important to have our girls educated?
Yeah, definitely, Clayton, because we run a positive parenting program in which we try to involve all our parents, of the children, and mostly women. They realize that the girl children that they have, the daughters, should not have the same life as themselves. So they take a huge step. They start to make sacrifices so that the child is able to study and come to these centers and get all the help that they could, so that they're able to complete the education, and they're able to see the avenues and what power and the direction their life will change if they get the education.
Yeah. What's the criteria to get in? You said there's 139. I imagine you've probably got a heap of people who are wanting to get in and be a part of it. How do you make those decisions?
Just nothing. Like kind of whoever is available, like they are free to come. And, if we have more kids, then we start to look for more teachers. Yeah, that is the scenario now. We want as much as children to come in and join the program so that we are able to make the change for them.
Yeah, I love that we're gonna take them and we're gonna find the people to teach them. That's just wonderful. My guest is Hilda John. She's the CEO of Development Association for Integrated Activities in India, DAIA, and is out in Australia being hosted by International Needs Australia, and in fact partnering with International Needs Australia. We'll talk a bit about that, how you can be involved in changing lives, and there's still much more work we want to still talk about from the work of DAIA as well. On the way next, here on Towards Understanding.
Share your brand, your event, your message across 90 Christian radio stations and major cities in Australia and New Zealand by sponsoring Towards Understanding, hosted by Clayton Bielan. More than 210,000 people tune into Towards Understanding each week, and with just one sponsorship, you'll reach this immense engaged audience. Find out more about this exciting and unique opportunity now on the sponsorship page at positivemedia.com.au.
There's still other work that you do also, Hilda. Could you talk to us a little bit about the Empower program? I'd love to hear a bit about that and to share a bit more of that.
Yes, Clayton, thank you. We empower women from rural areas who are stuck in their villages and have very limited access to skills and other resources. So basically, when they have no access to skills, they remain poor and they still remain in the cycle of poverty. So we bring the tailoring skills to their doorstep in those rural villages and train them. So the first step of training them, it gives them the financial independence they require. Then they are able to contribute to their household income. And then it flows on to the society as well. They are able to transfer this economic stability to the children. So there are so many benefits by doing this empowering program with tailoring skills. We also train them with other craft skills which are really popular in the regions, such as Ari craft work, which is very native to that area, so that they have more experience and they are more competent in the job market. And we also connect them with local governments and other schemes, and also with other businesses, so that they're able to get some jobs in hand or able to work in the garment factory. Yeah.
That's wonderful. I mean, we've said many, many times on this program, there is very solid research that says in someone in poverty, empower the woman, and that will ultimately change the whole community, because they will grow in that skill. They will then empower the children, they empower their family, ultimately empowers the community. You can have a massive impact because of it. And it seems like you're living that out and seeing that occur.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any great stories that to share? And understand if you can't use people's names, but any specific stories of life change through the program?
Yeah, of course. I can share one of very lovely young women. She got affected with brain fever when she was 2 years old and lost the ability to walk. So, as you know, like a child, and especially a girl child born in a family with poverty, how hard it could have been growing up. She faced tremendous hardships, but she survived doing odd jobs. She was rejected by family, but she somehow survived. She's now 37 years old, to let you know. But when she knew of these programs run by DAIA in her village, she came to these programs, got trained, and she did very well. And she was quite motivated. She wanted to do something with this training. We were able to help her purchase a sewing machine, a power sewing machine, and she started a small business. Slowly but steadily, the business grew. She was able to get orders from nearby garment factories, and the roles changed. She was able to look after her elderly mother. And the most interesting part and inspiring part that I see in her is that she's taught herself keyboard through YouTube videos, and she now plays in her local church.
Wow.
So, yeah, she is a great testimony. And she often talks about that and how God has sent some group of people to train her and uplift her from the poverty and change her life for good.
Yeah. Oh, that is just wonderful. And that's happening for multiple people.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's right.
Just incredible.
Yeah.
Sorry, were you going to say something else?
Yeah, just to add on that, like even with tailoring skills, with people, women especially who are impaired mentally or who have disabilities, we help them purchase goats or raise chickens so that they're able to still start their livelihood.
Yeah, wonderful. That's not all the work that you do. You also work, I know, specifically around with those who are elderly and who perhaps are not being treated by society as well as they could. Could you talk about some of that work?
Yeah, we do support a group of elderly women because most of them are left to be on their own, and they don't have any kind of social security system to support themselves. So we support them with grocery packs every month, with nutrition pack, so that they are able to live with dignity. Yeah. And this is a time every month they get together, and that is a time they talk with each other, share stories, get a bit of social support as well as health, nutrition, and a bit of message of hope. And we work among them, and we also do some kind of little help what we can, like maybe fixing their houses, maybe not completely, but maybe just put a topple in, or take them for any medical appointments or advocate for them. These are the things we support them with.
Yeah. It's remarkable work that you are doing. How does it actually run? How are you able to make sure you've got the money to provide the packs and to help everybody else? How does it actually run? Where's the money coming from? Where's the support coming from?
So first of all, Clayton, it's the main thing I see is faith first, and then the support of very much like-minded people, mainly friends, family, and people who have known about the work. And also to mention International Needs Australia here, we share the same vision, and we also same responsibility towards our brothers and sisters who are less privileged. So they are very great supporters for DAIA, and they've been working with us for the last 4 years.
Yeah. And I know that that's how someone could help. I'm sure that you would help take someone who gives a donation and you would put it to good use.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay, so let me give that website out because as you have been hearing, I am sure that you are thinking, boy, how do I support the work that Hilda is about? So if you head to the International Needs Australia website, then you can go from there. It's ina.org.au, and then just look up DAIA there, so the Development Association for Integrated Activities. So ina.org.au, and you can contact International Needs and say, listen, I want to support the work of Hilda, and they will make that happen, which is wonderful. The future ideas, I'm sure that you've got plenty of ideas that you said, well, if suddenly there was all this people or money there, you'd be like, I'd do this and this and this. What are the things you'd hope to do in the future?
If for the women in the rural areas, our vision is to create some hubs, like where they are able to come together, and they are able to have a sort of a small garment industry there. So in every village, if we are able to establish small hubs where women can come together and stitch, and they are able to be a part of a group or a that you call, like kind of it and that would benefit the whole of the society and whole of the village. That is one of the visions that we have. And also bring digital literacy to our children from our low socioeconomic backgrounds. So because most of our children, they may be okay with phones, they must familiar with that, but none of our kids are able to have a digital literacy as of now. So that is also our vision, like in a few years' time, giving them the best chance in education.
In this next world, what a brilliant idea. Brilliant heart as well. Hilda, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming and visiting us in the studio and sharing about the work. We are just, so pleased that you are doing the work. I love that, as you said, it's putting faith in action, and certainly that's the encouragement we're giving for others to support you in that. So thank you for all the work you're doing and the time you've given us today.
Thank you so much, Clayton, for having me.
Hilda John is doing this remarkable work, and her team in India. If you want to put your faith in action and help change lives with what Hilda is doing, that website, again, through International Needs, ina.org.au. That's ina.org.au. Here on Towards Understanding.